So there's a memorial in San Francisco for this police officer, and which I know it's a tragedy that he died on the job, but this is how he died. There were two police cars engaged in a high-speed chase. They both had their sirens on, and he wasn't wearing his seatbelt. So not only was he breaking the law by not wearing his seatbelt, but I never considered that if you both have your sirens on at the same time, you actually can't hear sirens coming towards you. So it was a terrible tragedy, but you know, I mean, he should have been wearing his fucking seatbelt. Jesus. So I grew up in a little town in Florida, and and I was just, for the record, I know what's going through your mind. I was conceived on an army cot in a trailer, and yes, my mother told me that because I was once dating somebody who lived in a trailer, and I was like, I don't know what it is about trailer parks, but I really think they're cool. And she starts laughing, this creepy laugh, which should have tipped me off that she was going to say something creepy, and she did, and it was, well, you should. You were conceived in a trailer on an army cot. And wow, wow. That's nobody should know that. No one should know anything about what happened before they got here. We all just came magically out of white light from a stork, out of a cabbage patch or something. So yeah, I don't. A friend of mine invited me to her birth, like she was gonna give birth because she was really pregnant, and she's like one of these sort of, you know, into stuff like that person. Like she had a midwife, and which is good. Midwives are good. There's nothing wrong with midwives. I'm just saying, like she was really into like her friends being there for the birth of her child, and I was like, no, I don't ever want to see that ever. Thank you. I'm sure there's probably a videotape. It's probably on YouTube. Like she's like, PBS, NPR kind of person who like, Miracle Life. Sure, Miracle Life. I want nothing to do with it. I think it's gross. It freaks me out. It's too much blood and poop, and it's just it's like those little Russian dolls that all fit inside each other, except there's lots of blood and poop and screaming and crying and pain and anger, and it's just, whoa, it's violent. It's really violent, and I don't ever want to see a vagina do that. I never want to see a human head, with a vagina as its little turtleneck, because I saw a live birth video when I was 8. My parents called me in on Christmas Eve because PBS was showing this goddamn, oh my god, uh, video of a live human birth. And I decided right then and there I was never going to do that because that was just too freaking, oh my god, gross. It's like playing football in the rain. It was just awful. And they're like, look, look, it's a miracle life. And I'm like, oh my God, is that where it came from? Oh my God. And I saw the cats have kittens because, of course, we had generations of kittens because of my parents' redneck math. It was actually cheaper to feed 5 generations of kittens than it was to fix one cat. See, that's a simple redneck equation that you may not be onto, but that's redneck math right there. It's actually cheaper to buy a trailer and make $500 payments on it until by the end, when it's all paid off and you've spent over $100,000, right? And you could have built your own grand mansion, but now you got a trailer that's actually not worth anything anymore because trailers are the only real estate you can buy that actually goes down in value like every day, guaranteed. So, yeah. So my attraction to trailer parks, I blame it on being from the South. So, and specifically being from Florida, because people in Florida really love their trailers. I don't know why. They get eaten up by tornadoes and hurricanes all the time, but we love trailers. And there's something about trailers. I think they're cool. I don't know why. It's a bad idea. I wouldn't own one, but I think they're cool. I think it's cool that other people do it. It's cool. So, so I grew up in this little town in Florida, which explains so much. I mean, first of all, like, I'm gay, probably because I grew up in a tiny town in Florida where most of the guys like either smelled like pot or didn't have teeth or both, or Budweiser or cigarettes or and these like I was smarter than they were when I was like 5. Like I'd already read more books and you know, and they kind of treated me that way. That everyone around me kind of treated me like I was this like genius and truth be told, I'm really not that bright. Although they have these standardized tests which are a stupid, crazy nightmare. We should do away with them right away. Because what standardized tests did for me was because I was in Florida and only slightly above average, it made me think I was a genius because I was always in the 99th percentile. The problem with the South is that they brag about what other people in the world kind of keep hush hush, right? So the same things that are happening in the South are happening all over the world. But the South brags about it like they are the drunk uncle at the family reunion picnic that is, freaking everybody out because of his outrageous behavior. And, he's bragging about doing these horrible things that everyone, not everyone, but many people do. He just doesn't have the sense to just, maybe not talk about it, maybe not brag about doing those particular things. I mean, it's kind of like, parts of the South actually didn't go through the civil rights movement yet. And, I grew up in Florida, and there's definitely, I mean, if you go about 20 miles inland from the coast of Florida, and even on the coast of Florida, some places like 1955, Rosa Parks, all that stuff, Emmett Till, all of that stuff never happened. And they are going to be so upset when the civil rights movement actually does happen because, things are going to drastically change. And it's going to be very upsetting, actually, um, to them and upset everything they know because, um, there's this, they definitely still have a like defend our way of life thing. And, the subtext of that is, we don't like queers or blacks or Jews. That's what they're actually saying is when they're saying defend our way of life. So, um, you know, I mean, I've almost gotten killed by Southerners, sitting at Waffle House and such. Just eating breakfast, not doing anything outrageous, but man, it's a tough place. They definitely have lots of men down there that feel that it's their duty to maintain some sort of weird status quo of, you know, oppression of others. So I don't, you know, I mean, to me the jewel of the South is New Orleans, and that is a city I will always love. And I just, you know, I hope that it's not too bad when the civil rights movement blows through places that it hasn't gotten to yet in the South, because it's going to be pretty uncomfortable and possibly violent. More unsolicited advice. If you put an ad on Craigslist or whatever one ads that you use, be careful about what you put up. Like, be like have people clarify what they're calling for, because they could be calling about the used car you're selling or the personals ad that you put up, and that could be awkward. So